Read all the stories about BYU sports no one else has heard. Go to KSLSports.com for exclusive columns by BYU insider Mitch Harper. That's KSLSports.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It is First and 12 right here with you. KSL News Radio. Also on the KSL Sports Zone every Sunday. Mitch Harper and myself, Alex Kirry. We break down our Big 12 weekend that was, everything that kind of came out of the conference, and we're getting a little bit more of a focused look at what the conference is becoming. And I'll tell you what it's becoming is you got teams who are figuring themselves out. You have other teams that are falling way off, some teams that just can't decide in the middle. And then at the very, very top, our game of the week, of course, was Oklahoma visiting Kansas, and that's what it ended up being. And it ended up being an upset, and they threw the goalposts into the river, Mitch. So that's the end of it. They don't have goalposts anymore in Kansas. They get the win over Oklahoma 38-33. And you know what? It was a back and forth. It was exactly what you wanted out of these two teams. And, man, how about Bean coming in and saying, you don't need the Big 12 preseason conference player of the year under center. I'll take care of this whole thing for you. I loved to see Kansas beat Oklahoma, even if it does make the top of the conference an absolute mess.
It does, and Kansas ends an 18-game losing streak to Oklahoma. You got to go back to 1997, the second year of the Big 12 Conference, to see Kansas beating OU, and to do it on the year where OU's heading out the door, going to the SEC. What a parting shot for Kansas, giving Oklahoma a loss. I mean, because these two, oddly enough, you don't think of it because of the massive gap between programs, but these are old rivals that have played for more than 115 times, and Kansas hands them an L. And I think that's pretty big deal for Kansas, and they get bowl eligibility again for the second consecutive year in this win. So such a big win for Kansas, and to do it too with Jason Bean, because there's been rumblings, and it feels like so many people have been wondering, kind of similar to, it reminds me of the Cam Rising situation at Utah when that was a mystery. What's going on with Jalen Daniels? Is he just sitting out? Does he want to just stay sidelined? Is he bracing to move on? But, Jason Bean just steps in, continues to be the guy for KU, and he got this offense humming, and they've always had this ability to be this high-powered offense, and they showed it. And on the downside, Oklahoma, some of their downfalls on the defensive side reared its ugly face again, and that's going to be something where they have to fix going forward down the stretch run.
It's wild because it's a little bit like Texas, too, where you walk onto a field against Texas, you know who the better athletes are. Like, you see them, and you know who the big names are, and it was the case yesterday with Texas. But at the same time, you can match up. If you scheme these guys, you'll be able to get them. I mean, UCF, they were this close last week down in Norman. And so Kansas to say, no, we're going to stick in there with a backup quarterback. We're going to have a game plan. And you know what he didn't do? He didn't throw the ball all over the place. He was, very middle of the road when it came to throwing the football, including throwing a couple of picks. But they just, to get almost 450 yards of offense, Brent Venables, he's a defense guy. Right? This is supposed to be somebody who, is supposed to have that kind of toughness that he brought with him from Clemson. And they just have not been that defense yet. That I think that they were hoping they were going to. Certainly they've improved, but like you said, they've reared their ugly heads quite a few times down the road. But it's made it for a mess. You look at the conference standings, and you have a handful of teams now who are 4-1, including your Kansas State, who we sort of wrote off for a minute, right? And how about freaking Iowa State, Mitch? I don't know what to say about the Cyclones. I don't know what to say about Texas and Oklahoma are exactly where they're supposed to be. I'll say too. When they had it, you tell me you were at the stadium yesterday, but when they showed the Oklahoma score on the board at the stadium, the players reacted on the sidelines on TV. And I think that they were also like, let's go. There's a window open here. We're going to jump through it if Oklahoma just crapped the bed, and they did. And that probably helped a little bit of the situation, too, where they go, all right, buckle down. We can't lose to BYU. Because it was pretty early. It was in the first half. It wasn't it was 20 minutes into the game. So, yeah, it was a big win for Kansas. I think it's cool for them, and it's a program, builder. And Lance Leipold, you're behind the eight ball already when you come in to coach football at Kansas, but he's done a great job with them so far this year, especially knowing that Jalen Daniels has been out so much. So, all right, let's take the break here. We'll come back next hour. We have tons. Our second hour, of course, always features our Big 12 power rankings that is, starting to take some shape here. Now that we didn't know anything. We still don't. But week 9, now into the year, hopefully you know a little bit more. We'll come back. Our program, as always, brought to you by Macy's. Happy shopping. We're going to take that break here. We'll come back. It's 1st and 12. Alex, Kirry, Mitch Harper. Stay right here with us.